Okay, what have we got time-wise here?
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay. This is, keep my eye over here once in a while. Okay. Well, I'm a father of 4 children. We had twin sons that didn't survive, so that was a total of 6. But 4 living children, 7 grandchildren, and anyone that's raised a family like that knows that's a lot of life experiences. In our family, we have 1 doctorate, 2 master's degrees, a bachelor's. That's 4. That's all we got. And we paid for all that, my wife and I. Even though I'm a vet and disabled and all, we still were able to fund those education for our children. I worked in the hospital. I was a lab technician, and I'm talking some years ago. I helped do autopsies. I don't know how that prepares you for Congress, but those of you who smoke cigarettes, please stop. Like I told you earlier, I own several successful businesses. That's why I'm able to fund, my wife and I are able to fund this campaign. Believe me, it's expensive. And it's more so. I was nominated for Congress in the district north of here back several years ago, and the prices have really gone up. I say the life experiences that I have pretty much transcends the other fine candidates that you have up here. There isn't much that I haven't done, put it that way. Travis, if you'd spend less time putting signs up, you could probably find a nice lady to get married to. If yard signs are going to make the difference, this young man will be your next congressman, I'll tell you. So anyway, do you own the sign company, by the way? No, well, you should. Anyway, I look forward to your questions and comments. Again, I'll be happy to hang around later if we don't cover it all here. Wait for that sign to come. Stop. Okay. Thank you. John, you're on.
I'll give you a little bit about myself. I graduated from Madison High School in 1982. From there I went to Cincinnati Bible College. I don't know if anyone's familiar with it. I attended there for 2.5 years, and then I left there because I wanted to get married. My wife's here with me tonight. And I went to Ivy Tech and got a degree in electronics. And then here recently I decided I was going to finish my ministry degree. So 3 years ago I finished an associate's in ministry, and then now I'm working on my bachelor's. I need 1 more class. So as far as education, that's where I'm coming from. My very first job I had was when I was in high school. I worked in a fast food restaurant, probably just like many other people. Then from there I also worked in a mental hospital, which I kind of like. I like working with the people. And I worked there in Madison, and I did that for 10 years as a psychiatric attendant, and I also was just an institutional worker because they actually make more money than the people working with the patients, which never made sense to me, so I actually transferred and started doing that. Then I worked for Walmart. I unloaded trucks for 10 years, which I didn't like doing too much, but anyway, I did it. And then I became self-employed. I worked as an electronics technician, which I still do part-time. I install satellite systems. I used to work with Weaver Satellite. Anyone here ever buy anything from Weavers? Because they used to handle this area. So anyway, I did that. So that's why I know a lot of people, hundreds and hundreds of people in the area. And then I started working for Lifetime Resources in 2008 when the economy started going down. People stopped buying the toys that I used to install for them. So I took a job with Lifetime Resources where I've met lots and lots of people. And thank you very much. Watching the time.
Joe, I honestly think that psychiatric experience would probably be most beneficial on Capitol Hill, right?
Probably.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is one of the most important questions you're going to ask us tonight. Because I think you'd be hard-pressed to find us differ on very many issues. And yet, we were asked a specific question. What leadership experience do you have that qualifies you to be our next congressman? Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to hire one of us. You're interviewing us tonight. And when you hire us, you're going to pay us almost $180,000 a year to be your congressman. Now, I will tell you, I think it's way too much. And I've asked Congress to take a pay cut. But in order to say that you're going to lead, you have to get people to follow. And it's one thing to say I'll lead. It's another thing to say I've led and people have followed. And throughout my life, go to Richmond, Indiana, where I've been a financial advisor now for almost 17 years, where I've served on the Wayne County Board of Directors for 6 years, where I've been a member of the Board of Directors of Junior Achievement and try to teach a class every year to inspire young people to achieve and be the best that they can be, to the work that I've done in the church, to the leadership work that I've done with young people as the president of the District Youth Conference that I was the president of for several years. I really do believe my life tells a story that I've done my best for the last 17 years of my married life, and even before that, to be a leader. And this is an important question, and I believe qualifications do matter. And I hope you will give serious consideration to the fact that you are hiring one of us to be your next congressman. And I thank you for the question.
The next question involves community involvement. Please share some of the ways you have been involved in your community. Specifically, what actions did you take and what were the results of those actions that were an asset to the community?
Well, some of that I unfortunately already said. Member of the Board of Directors in Wayne County for 6 years, president of the Randolph County Holiness Association in Randolph County, member of the Junior Achievement Board of Directors, past president of the Richmond Rotary Club, member of the Lions Club, on the Board of Directors of the Star Jeanette Foundation. Probably my biggest challenge was as a member of the Board of Directors of the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce. And last year, Wayne County Commissioners, Republicans by the way, wanted to pass a will tax. And I'm personally opposed to tax increases. Our communities and our government needs to learn to live within its means. And so they came to us, the commissioners came to us, and wanted us to support the will tax. And they presented a fact sheet that they wanted us to recommend to the community. I was the only member of that board who stood up and said, we absolutely cannot do this unless we're willing to show the other side, because there was a group that had presented a fact sheet that showed we did not need the will tax. And so I led that charge. When we started that fight, and the Tea Party in Richmond got very much involved, when we started that fight, we did not have the votes to stop it. The commissioners had the votes on council to pass the will tax. But by the time we got done, the people of the city of Richmond came together. We caused that will tax to fail. Unfortunately, it cost me my position on the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. I wasn't asked to serve another term. But I will tell you, it is a battle scar that I'm proud to have worn.
A couple of different things I'd like to tell you about. Actually, the kind of job I have right now, it's a nonprofit organization, and I get to work with elderly people, and I take them to the doctor quite often. I take them to the grocery store, help them into their house with their stuff, whatever they need, that type of thing. With low-income families, I do the same thing with them, and we provide a transportation for them. Also, I'm very involved with the Ripley County Amateur Radio Association. If anyone's familiar with ham radio, I am a ham. My call sign is AJ9W. And one of the things we do is, like, if we have really, really bad weather, we'll go out and watch for weather. And if we see a storm coming, we will report it to either the National Weather Service or report it back to a person who's listening. And if there's weather coming our way, we can relay that information to different people. That way you can take cover if you need to. So those are two things in the community that I'm very much involved with. And I also do the same thing out of Jefferson County where I live, because we have the same type of a system down there where we also weather spot down there. So those are two things that I'm very much involved in with the community, and I think that my involvement is very intense. A lot of people know me because of it, and I enjoy doing those type of things. Thank you.
I would ask you...
Thank you, Bill.
see where to start. at the high level, I've raised $1 million for hearing impaired young people through as national president for the Travelers Protective Association, which I've been a member for many years. I mentioned my wife's and our foundation, where we have had that going for close to 40 years. This is all on my website, by the way, BillFrazier2012.com. I've headed up, been the presiding officer of 8 Masonic organizations. We deal with crippled children. We got hospitals, like there's 25, close to that now, maybe more, where we give treatment to burn children. I've spent many, many years doing that. Trying to remember all of them. I've done so many things. Well, I was a leader, became a sergeant in short order, and I headed up my rifle company in the 82nd Airborne Division as an airborne infantry. Church, I've been a member of the Grace Baptist Church, which is an independent fundamental church in Muncie, Indiana, for many years, and do a lot of things there, kind of behind the scenes more than up front. But I'll tell you one thing, that a freshman, I've had experience being a freshman state senator. A freshman congressman isn't going to be able to do much, believe me. And Travis, I've got news for you. If you think you're going to get these clowns to vote for term limits, you've got another thing coming. They're never going to do it. The only way we're going to get term limits is candidates like me and you agree to serve a limited number of terms and then do it. That's term limits. So those are the experiences that I've had, and in leadership, you know, I've done a lot to get taxes cut back when I was in the state senate, and headed up an effort to do that, and became law after I was out of office. Thank you.
I've been very involved in my community. I've worked with the Pregnancy Care Center, the Right to Life. My brother is actually the president of Bartholomew County Right to Life. Very active member of my church, which is the Bible Church of Columbus, Pastor Jerry Day Sr. But most importantly, what I want to talk about is I've had the honor in the past few years running for U.S. Congress to not only get familiar with my community of Columbus, but the communities of the entire south central part of Indiana, particularly here in Dearborn. As you know, I've spent a lot of time here, and my most important goal is to meet the community leaders of each community, particularly the pastors as well, because what we need to do as my role as a representative is give the power back to the people. And as you know, when people get in trouble today, who do they turn to? They turn to the government, and they want to come to me and ask for all my help. And I say, well, time out. If you're waiting for the government, or you're waiting for a politician to solve your problems, you're going to be waiting forever. And what my goal is to point people back to the community leaders who know how to help. So, prime example, Dillsboro, Dallas Ross. I said, hey, let me introduce you to a guy who knows this community, how you can get plugged in. Oh, you're from Lawrenceburg? Well, let me introduce you to Roger Mantell. Let me introduce you to these people who know the community, who know what's really going on, because that's what people need to do, is get plugged in. Okay, getting a blank check from Washington does nobody any good. And my goal is to make people be self-sufficient, self-reliant, hard work, give people back their self-respect and dignity. We need a strong people, and that's what my leadership will do as your representative.